Hello, and thank you for accessing this video. I'm Cam. This is the Southern Bible Thumper channel. I'm sure you already knew that, but I appreciate you for clicking on the video. For this upload, we will be reading Genesis chapter 49. And Jacob called unto his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiledst thou it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor. Be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens, and he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people, as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind set loose, he giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their fathers spake unto them, and blessed them, every one according to his blessing he blessed them. And he charged them, and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed, and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. Genesis chapter 49. Jacob told his sons to gather together so they can know what happens in the last day. He told Reuben that he's unstable, and he will not excel because he defiled his father's bed. In chapter 35, verse 22, Reuben slept with Bilhah. Bilhah is Jacob's wife, concubine. Defiled means to make unclean, to violate the chastity or virginity of, to violate the sanctity, or to make unclean or impure. So he violated the sanctity of his father's bed uh, by sleeping with Bilhah, his father's concubine slash wife. In verse 5, Jacob talks to Simeon and Levi, the two brothers that committed mass murder in chapter 34. Um, they use instruments of cruelty in their habitations, meaning their weapons are instruments of violence. In verse 6, let us not be united in their anger. They killed men. Cursed be their anger, for it's fierce. Their wrath is cruel. Jacob says he'll scatter them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Verse 8, he praises Judah, the one who sold Joseph into slavery. Your brother will praise you, and your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your Judah is as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? It also says that he will have a scepter, which is a token or an emblem of authority. Judah will have authority until Shiloh come. And it continues saying that he will have choice wine. He will wash his clothes in wine. His teeth will be white with milk. So he's going to live fancy. Zebulun will dwell at a sea haven, and his territory will extend to Zidon. Issachar is a strong donkey crouching between two burdens. He sees that rest is good, land is pleasant. He will work hard or submit to forced labor. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. He shall be as a serpent, biting horses' heels. Gad, in verse 16, will be attacked by a troop, but he will succeed against them. Verse 20, Asher will produce food fit for a king. Verse 21, Naphtali is a doe or a deer that gives beautiful words. Verse 22, Joseph is a fruitful bow, branch of a tree. A bow is a branch of a tree. Jacob says that archers bitterly attacked Joseph, hated him, but his bow remained taut. His arms were strengthened by the mighty one. Many blessings be over Joseph because of how he was set apart from his brothers. Verse 27, Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, in the morning devouring prey, and at night dividing the spoils. Verse 28, these are the 12 tribes of Israel according to their blessings, and Jacob requests to be buried in the cave in Mamre from Ephraim the Hittite that Abraham bought. He also buried Leah there in that cave. 49 highlights Jacob blessed his sons. Judah sold Joseph into slavery, but was blessed as a leader by his father. But, well, it was his idea to sell Joseph into slavery, and without that idea, their family might not have survived the famine. And verse 8 through 12 details how rich Jacob says he's going to live and how he was going to rule. Issachar will be a strong and good worker. Dan will judge his people as a tribe of Israel, but will be as a serpent. Verse 19, Gad will get beat up, but win. Verse 20, Asher will produce good food. Naphtali is a doe with beautiful words. Verse 22 through 26, that is Joseph being blessed. In chapter 31, Leah is buried in the cave that Abraham purchased from Ephraim the Hittite. But when did she die? Rachel's death was mentioned. Her burial was mentioned. I mean, she was mentioned, but Leah, they just slip it in here. Yeah, I want to be buried in the cave that my ancestors are buried in. Oh yeah, I buried Leah there too. Another thing, Rachel was buried in Ephrath in chapter 35, but we have to consider why, because Rachel was Jacob's favorite wife. He loved her the most. So the reason why that probably happened was because in verse 34, Simeon and Levi committed mass murder. So in verse 35, Jacob was scared because they had just gotten to the land of Canaan. They are outnumbered, and his two sons committed mass murder against a king and his son and an entire city of men. So when Rachel gave birth and passed away, that was during that time of them trying to flee that situation. So that may not have been the best time to go back to his hometown. I appreciate you listening with me until this far. The next upload will be the last book of Genesis. I am excited. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.